Guys, we just got done watching Chapter 13, The Jedi, another masterclass, another amazing episode, this time directed by Dave Filoni. But before we jump into a lot to talk about on this episode, let's get a short word from our awesome sponsors. Have you guys ever seen this? How about this? Look, if you're paying for the content on Hulu or Netflix or can't even get access to it like Disney Plus in some regions, then you need to get yourself Surfshark.
So look at all these movies Netflix has that's not available in your region.
Meg, Hotel Artemis, Venom.
Rampage?
No, Joe, not Rampage.
Not Rampage.
Ready Player One, Blade
Fast and
Runner.
Furious. Come
Come
on.
on, guys, seriously.
Yeah, get access to everything that you're already paying for. Get Surfshark now. Use our link for 84% off. You get a 2-year plan with 4 extra months for free. It's about $2 a month for
cheap.
unlimited devices.
Get access to things that you're already paying for, plus privacy. Protect your privacy. Super important on the internet, guys. That's it. It's really simple. Thank you guys so much for considering it. Enjoy the review.
Good one.
Yes.
Yeah, this is crazy. So, like I said, we finally get the debut of Ahsoka Tano. I knew it. I knew Dave Filoni would be directing this one. But I kind of expected like more of a lead up into it, you know.
No, they just threw it in your face.
Right
They
in
just
there.
go right the hell in there, guys. It's kind of unceremonious the way she shows up, but it's not any less badass. You know,
No.
I just expected like a big dramatic flair or a big dramatic reveal or the music or something. No, it just starts.
Murder.
Ahsoka is murdering people.
Which is why I think this episode hit it right out of the park again.
Yeah.
These episodes aren't long, so let's get the action going.
Let's
and
get-
Yeah, we don't have an
just-
hour
yeah.
anymore.
So I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, fuck
yes,
all that shit. Let's get
do-
straight
yes,
to the
yes,
action.
Let's do it. I loved it.
Love it, Dave. So her reveal, like I said, a little unceremonious, but not any less badass because in the dark, she's kind of, I don't know, maybe it was our, room was too dark. It's a little
There's a
dark. I
fog.
The
wanted
Mandalorian
to see
is
more.
dark. I mean,
Yeah.
but they have so many props. You know, it's a lower budget than like some of the bigger movies, and so it makes sense that it's a little darker.
So Ahsoka with her double white lightsabers, as you know, Joe. Well, as you do not know, Joe.
I've only seen
She
pictures of her. I
is-
was like, okay, well, she looks like the character. That's
Yeah, she does look like. Well, she looks more like the Clone Wars version of her than the Rebels version of her. Her head tails are a little slightly different. Maybe they wanted to keep it practical, but what I'm saying is it's perfect
They look
casting.
good.
Perfect casting. Rosario Dawson is Ahsoka and everything but the voice. You know, I'm used to the actual original voice actress, but she still does a really good job. And yeah, so she's just murdering fools at the beginning in the fog in the this dead forest. It just looks amazing, and the way she moves, her battles, like that's what it's like to battle the Jedi. These guys are all left flank, and then it don't matter what your fucking tactics are, because you're getting your ass kicked, and it was just so cool. And then she basically walks up to the front door. That's how badass and cocky she is. And there's the sort of magistrate, basically, of this town. And they have quarrel with each other. They obviously do not like each other. And she's like, tell me what I want to know. I'm going to come in there and I'm going to get you. And then the magistrate's like, no. In fact, how much is this information worth to you? Because I'm about to kill this one person here. You know what? Nah, I think I'll kill 10 people. No, I think I'll kill 100. You know, so let it be known that anybody in here, their deaths are on your
You're not
head.
allowed to talk to anyone.
Right. And she don't really give a shit.
No, not at all.
Ahsoka doesn't really care. In fact, they call Ahsoka a Jedi in this, and Ahsoka never protests. She never says, "No, I'm not a Jedi." I was expecting, "I'm not a Jedi," or something like that. But no, I guess she's like tired of telling people she's not a fucking Jedi. So she's like, "Whatever, go ahead." Because Joe, she disagreed with sort of the Jedi order in certain ways, and then she basically left the Jedi.
Okay, because I didn't know that because it just said the Jedi. I was like, oh, okay, what's her?
Yeah.
I would have been that guy.
Part,
You're
part
a
of the
Jedi.
reason for her white
No,
sabers.
I'm not a Jedi.
Yeah. Oh my God. Fuck. Fine. Just fuck it. I'm a Jedi.
Yes,
Is what she's
Okay,
saying.
let's just end this conversation.
That's what she's saying at this point. And that's why, because it kind of made sense, because it's like, you're the last Jedi, right? It's like, but Ahsoka, she's not technically a Jedi. You see what I mean?
Actually.
That's how they kind of was getting away with that. But
Okay.
honestly, they've referred there are other Jedi in the galaxy maybe we've never heard of and don't know about. Maybe that could also be a thing. But it was just so really amazing to see her in live action. And, in terms of look, I think it's just as good as Bo Katan. You don't have the same voice actor, the voice actress factor in there, but she just looks perfect. I think Ahsoka should be 45 years old around this time. Rosario Dawson's 41, so that lines up perfect. And she definitely took some saber classes. Definitely took some action classes because she really sold it. It looked really good. Even in the dark, it looked really good. And when you would get a little bit of the light from the saber, I'm like, ooh, this looks so good, right? Okay, so basically the storyline is another sort of play on Westerns, but they throw in old samurai films, which I really
two big
like.
influences of Star Wars.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I was worried coming into this episode because, and I know that, how dare you.
Here it comes.
Dave Filoni wrote and directed the worst episode of Mandalorian Season 1. I will not watch that episode anymore. I don't think it's... Going back and watching all of this amazing stuff, it is still the worst episode of The Mandalorian in the gunfighter from Season 1. I have seen a bunch of Clone Wars. Most of my Clone Wars I've seen is Seasons 1 and 2, which are the worst of the seasons. I've seen some of the later stuff.
Oh,
so
no,
I was
it's really
worried
good
that,
stuff.
that this wasn't going to...
Be as
You
good,
know,
yeah.
I was worried it was going to be Season 1 Mandalorian Dave Filoni, but this is really, really good stuff. Like, really good stuff. You have Ahsoka in it's almost like a villain in a horror movie, picking these people off, like an
Yes.
alien
Yeah,
picking
she's
off
almost
space,
evil.
like picking off like space marines.
I'm like, this is not
And then
Jedi,
Michael
like-
Bain shows up and it's like, she is an alien. And she's killing all these people and then she's actually an alien. And so it makes a lot of sense. And then you've got this parallel samurai battle going on when you got a Western duel happening in the climax of the episode. Everything felt right. This guy put in the work to make, because Ahsoka's his baby. It's like his character that everyone loves. And he nailed it. And I just want to give him so much credit because the writing, the directing, almost everything about this episode felt perfect. There was a couple things that, they have to kind of, with the expanded universe, what's canon and not canon, mentioning like what Jedi are around and not Jedi are around. Like, don't mention Luke Skywalker. It's like, I'm not allowed to mention Luke Skywalker.
There's
like,
people out in the woods.
there's some Jedi somewhere. It's like, the most famous one that's ever, that one? Well, can't mention that guy.
No.
But seriously, like, everything felt good about this episode. And he won me over. I do have to go. I know I have to go back and watch the rest of Clone Wars, but man,
I
those
need to
first couple
start on
seasons
that
were,
one.
man,
It's
the
a
first
lot.
couple seasons are,
I need to catch
some
up.
of it's good. But
We'll see.
yeah. What do you think?
Oh, I loved it. This, like, I've never seen her in action, but I seen like a little bit of the Clone Wars, like one episode where she was in it, and I think she did a great job.
I think they powered her down a little bit, which I really appreciated because I was terrified that
She
we
might
were
be getting a little
like-
slower with age, maybe.
Or just
She's
by the-
definitely a little slower
Is
when
she
you
like
see her in
ultra
the series.
powerful?
I was like,
Jedis
there's no
are
fucking
ultra
way.
powerful.
Well,
Yeah.
There's like what? There's like certain.
There
levels
are
of it.
levels, but like
She's
she
very
is she is a
experienced.
very powerful Jedi, and you can tell that she's holding back in certain situations. There's a situation where she does the, I know something you don't know. I'm not really left-handed, and she switches her grip when like the fight gets serious, and she's like, oh shit, things are about to go down. And so they didn't have her do the things that she could easily do. She could easily just go, oh, you're the bad guy, I'm gonna lift you up and I'm gonna dunk you in the water, and now you don't have your little staff, because Jedi are that powerful. And it's the problem I have with Jedi in The Mandalorian is it kind of invalidates everything that we've seen so far. They're like on this tier up here, and I think her powering her down a little bit or having her at least hold back as a character made her feel like she didn't stick out, and so I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
it plugs right into the samurai honor stuff because notice how she will fight the magistrate on equal terms. She's not going to go crazy with it. And honestly, you're right. She does sort of hold herself back because there's not for a fucking second do I believe that this magistrate is going to defeat her in a fucking
No.
duel. I mean,
I've got a stick.
She's gone toe to toe with Darth Vader, So like, shut up, you and your Beskar fucking spear. It's not gonna happen. It's
She's
not
holding
gonna
on to
work.
spirits. All she has to do is slide the lightsaber down. It's like, you don't got no fingers.
I was
Right.
wondering, I was like, wait, who is this? Is she pretty good with
No,
it? 'Cause
she's
there's
a
no
nobody,
way.
Joe.
I was like,
Nobody.
there's no way she's gonna face
They
the
had
Jedi
to give
or
her. They had to
Jedi.
level up that magistrate
Yeah.
up to her
Okay.
point, and she gets a lucky shot in, knocks one of her sabers into the
But
the
she wasn't
lake
taking
there.
it seriously. So one thing that I do know is Ahsoka likes to hold the lightsaber backwards with the reverse grip. And so the entire time, the whole episode, she holds it the way that she's less comfortable with. And then when she
Yeah.
gets seriously, she flips the grip up,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, shit, you are in trouble.
You're in trouble. Yeah, and she kicks her ass. I know we jumped ahead a little bit, but I just wanted to focus a little bit on Rosario Dawson's performance as Ahsoka Tano and how I think she absolutely nails it. Now, the internet is probably going to be ablaze because ultimately the goal was to get the child to one of her kind or the Jedi. And she kind of gets there, and then she's like, go on your own path. And so she doesn't take care of the child at the end, and we leave, basically.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I was kind of surprised by that. She gives him yet another quest to go on. So
Yeah, I know I said I help you, but I'm not going to. You got to go to this other place.
yeah, so I don't know if this is, because Ahsoka is on a mission. And if you don't know from Rebels, Joe, she is looking for Ezra Bridger, which is a Jedi. And he was lost fighting a big baddie of that series and a big baddie of the Star Wars legacy and Star Wars expanded lore that became canon, Admiral Thrawn, and he's
The blue guy.
The blue guy, which Imperials hate space aliens. They don't really elevate them to those levels. But he got fucking name dropped in here, and that made me so damn happy because I love Thrawn. And she's still searching for Thrawn, and obviously by extension Ezra, because Ezra and Thrawn kind of were come in tandem, and they've disappeared basically. So she's still focused on that, and she's like one-track mind on this with all this other stuff happening in the Star Wars universe. Sometimes some days I believe it, other days I don't believe it, but that's the way it is in this particular thing. And she's still one-track mind in the fact that she's going to ignore good old we have an actual name now. She's going to ignore this little baby Yoda. No longer baby Yoda. What is the name?
Grogu.
Grogu. What do you think of the name, Joe?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No.
I hated it at first because no, I wanted our name I wanted our name. But you know what? After a little while, it's kind of growing on me. Goo, gaga, Grogu.
This sounds like mildew or fungus.
It grows on
Grogu.
you. It grows on you, Joe.
No,
Grogu.
like fungus.
Grogu.
Yeah.
No, okay. Well, they don't. Do you like the name?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I'm the only one here, I guess, that likes the name a little bit. Okay, Grogu, we'll put you down over here, buddy. So, obviously, the Mandalorian gets to this little planet here where they have the conflict with the magistrate. The magistrate says, come in, and you can tell that she's oppressive towards her people. There's a fucking asshole. Another fucking drop. HK droids are up in this. I think they said like 80, 88, 87 or something like that. It's like a play on the HK droids from the Knights of the Old Republic.
And they were useless.
Yeah, because these models were shit, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
So bad.
They were.
They were the ones that would malfunction, so they sent them off.
Yeah, it's like
They
these ones
talk-
don't work.
They talk pretty cool, though.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I
They're
love
just
that.
for show.
They're for show, for muscle. But come on, Joe. It's fucking an outcast Jedi, all right? That's hard to go up against. This,
Unless
including
you have a metal stick.
including Mandalorian. So, anyways, you got those guys, and the Mandalorian is tasked with hunting down this Jedi problem that she has out in this dead forest. And it's cool. It's like I say, he's like, so he accepts the job, without saying he's gonna do, exactly something. He's like, okay, you got a little problem. Okay, I'll handle it. And so he goes out and she tempts him with some Beskar. Like it's the only thing he cares about. Like I'd be like, yeah, I'll take that and some more money because I've already got
Yeah,
weapons.
because I was like,
That thing's priceless. You can't fight a Darksaber without a Beskar spear, though, so foreshadowing.
Ah, nice. That's true.
That
And they
is
did
good.
sort of
Okay.
establish the fact that the Beskar can definitely block
Yeah.
lightsaber thing. And I don't know if I've ever seen that. I think, well, we
Glancing
obviously haven't
blows,
seen
I
it.
thought that was like a direct, like she was trying to go
Right.
for a kill shot, and I don't know if
And I think that it is I don't think we've ever seen it in live action. We might have seen it in an animation that I'm not recalling. Somebody in the comments will help us out. But that's a good setup because it shows how strong that metal is. And so when it comes time to go up against the Darksaber, we would believe that the Mandalorian could actually block some of the shots and block. And if you think about the Clone Wars, by the way, whose saber is this? Mace Windu's saber. And he went like that and kind of went at the vulnerability on Jango Fett to decapitate him. So we never actually really saw him have to deal with it bouncing off his arm.
40% of your body isn't covered in Beskar. It's the same with the Mandalorian. Like, there's all these spots where it's just
like, yeah, just hit him in the ribs.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta have good aim. You gotta have training with your saber. So,
or you lift him up with your mom magic and you make him sprint and go to T-pose.
There you go. Whatever. So, anyways, so we've got this little battle. She comes at him hard, like she no.
I don't think she was coming at him hard. I think she's like,
you had to block some freaking shots.
Oh well, look, she wasn't like allowing herself to be attacked. But I think that again, it's just like we know the universe.
She slowed down a little more than
if she
you
wants
think
to kill
she
that
slowed
guy,
down.
I think if she wanted him dead, he'd be dead.
Maybe you're right. Okay, so maybe she's intrigued a little bit, but she ties him up, or he ties her up, and then she ties him up, and then it's just that play like you're a badass, I'm a badass. What do you want to do? Hey! He says, Bo Katan, Bo Katan sent me, Boko sent me, and she's like, she pauses because obviously she's had dealings with her before, and then she notices Grogu over there, and she's like, tell me about him.
That's a baby Yoda. Let me talk to that.
That is a baby Yoda. Let's stop doing this and figure it out. So he gives them time to talk to each other, and what do?
They stare at each other.
That is correct.
At one moment, Joe's like, "Is there supposed to be sound? Did I mute it?"
I was like trying to mess with my sound
because we thought that was going on because they're just like.
They're feeling each other's feelings.
Well, yeah,
I thought they were talking to each other in their minds.
Well,
but
usually when they do that, they at least hold their forehead or something. They're just
got little arms.
That's true.
Yeah. So doing a little bit of the emotion feeling, and the little baby looks over at Mando, and then she looks over at Mando, and she knows that the relationship.
That's my daddy.
That's my
badass.
Dad. Yeah.
He's badass.
And she sees this relationship between them. She's like, I cannot train the child. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I thought like the whole point was to bring him to his kind, not to have him trained.
Yeah.
Not to bring him to a Jedi to have him trained. And it's kind of like the show kind of forgets its own thing. I need to go back and watch those other episodes.
Well, because he's also been trained for years already.
So that's the big reveal.
Yeah.
So tell us about the big reveal that she gets from communing with him.
So he was on Coruscant in the Jedi Temple, and someone snuck him out before,
Order
they murdered all the little younglings. And so he's not like Anakin that had no training and developed feelings for his mother or any of those other things.
Rey.
Or any of those other
This one has training, Joe.
This one has a bunch of training, so it already knows all these things, but it's kind of sealed itself off from the Force. And so I don't necessarily buy that she's like, well, he has these feelings. It's like, well, and they're new. He's just, he's been trained already. It's not the same thing. There was one real fun thing though, where she said, I knew a Jedi Knight that it went bad when they trained him. She didn't say Jedi Master, so just another dig at Anakin. Like, bitch, you are not a master.
Wow, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
My master. Anyways, because Ahsoka is the Padawan of Anakin. So that's who.
I forget.
Yeah. So Darth Vader actually has.
So that's why she's just like, oh wait, I know this story. If someone is like has feelings for someone else, then they'll turn into
So at first I was like, what? No, come on. And then I was like, okay, it makes sense.
Of all
the people that she's like emotional attachments to somebody. No, I'm done. I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. So I was like, all right, fine. That's just a weak excuse though to do this, but. They want to do some more Jedi stuff. She says, okay, take him to, this planet.
There's a temple, and there's a rock. And sit on the rock and call out.
If he chooses his journey, if he goes into the woods, then hopefully a Jedi will sense him, if there's any Jedi left. But if he just...
Not Luke Skywalker, though, because we're not allowed to use his name.
We can't say...
We can't use Luke Skywalker.
Someone will find him, hopefully.
She reveals Grogu was raised at a Jedi temple on Coruscant, where he was trained by many Jedi masters. After the rise of the Empire and fall of the Republic, he was hidden. But then taken by somebody from the Jedi temple. Alone and lost for several years, he hid his powers, right, to survive, which is, why his force power seems inconsistent. He only really does it when, his dad's in danger and stuff. His abilities are kind of fading due to his, fear and anger and unuse and just, repressed memories. So you got to find a way to unlock that.
Unseal himself
And-
off, which is what they did in the sequels. It worked out great for everybody.
All right, but before she tells him to go to Tython, that's what I was looking for there. They say, well, let's team up and let's take out this magistrate. And then I will, let's make a deal. Like, I'll train him if you do this and we do this together. So they're like, yeah, they'll never see it coming. A Mandalorian and a Jedi working together. I was like, yeah, this is going to be fucking awesome. And it was fucking awesome. Ahsoka Tano pretty much does it all. She like kills everything.
That's what I was saying, because he's like, well, she could have just done it before by herself. He's
Right.
like, well, do you have all these guns, this and that? And she
Well,
goes
I
in
think
that.
the element that she needed is she didn't want to just go in there and murder everybody because
Yeah.
they remember they have
The prisoners.
prisoners captured, and actually in another Easter egg, they're it's like a circular prison which can
You get
shock you,
shocked
which I
and-
think I saw in some of the old Republic games. So that was pretty cool too. But anyway, so that's the Mandalorian dimension that he can take care of that while she basically takes care of business.
She turns back into a villain, like a horror movie villain, and like these two like sad guards are running down the street, like terrified, and then it's dark, and then you see the white saber, and then they're in half,
Oh,
and then
really?
she keeps
No,
doing
I'm
it.
sorry.
No, I don't want to do this anymore.
It's just a job. It's
Yeah.
minimum wage.
They definitely made her a badass, and it was a fun watch.
Wait, she's killing people. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Disney
Anyways.
killing.
Disney
Oh yeah.
killing.
No blood.
And then so she just walks like a badass right up to them, and they're like, all right, we're fucked. Just deal with her. And so then they start the fight, and then she's like, all right, murder everybody. You're gonna come
Fuck
over
it.
here, attack me, kill all the civilians. That's when Mando shows up, takes care of business that way, and then we get a separation of East and West. I loved it. It was like on this side of the temple was the fucking Western, and on this side of the temple was the Eastern sort of samurai duel.
the showdown.
And so it was Ahsoka versus the magistrate next to this little koi fish pond or something.
Yeah.
And then you had the fucking Wild West in the fucking town, and is like going for his gun.
Who better than Johnny Ringo?
Yeah, and he kept Johnny Ringo, he's done it before. That's probably why he got hired. He's like, I want Michael Biehn.
Yeah. I seriously did get Aliens vibes from
I want Michael Biehn.
from this episode too. So it's just like I don't know if it was like
I didn't get Aliens
Intentional
vibes. I
or
did
something?
get Tombstone vibes. But
Oh, during the Western stuff, but when Ahsoka's like sneaking up and like murdering people, I definitely felt it's like
Yeah.
maybe it was just because seeing him at the beginning of the episode, it's like
I think Dave's such a fan of Michael Biehn that he's like, I gotta have him.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I didn't know that was Michael at first, man. I was like, oh damn, okay, Michael, what's up, man?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Time.
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 Say it's gonna happen to me too. Whatever. Anyway, but he still has that voice, that gravitas, that badassery that makes you believe that at any moment this guy is super dangerous, and he's sort of the right hand man of the magistrate, so he better be dangerous. And though he has a kind of a ridiculous gun. Did you see his
Oh, the
gun? Like
scatter
he has to actually
Yeah.
cock
I was
his
like,
gun.
I didn't know there's shotguns here.
there have
So
been
you gotta
they call them scatter shots
redo
or
the
something
shells
like that,
in there. Yeah, there's scatter shotguns in the Star Wars universe. A bunch of red lasers at once.
Okay.
Can't block if you're sitting there with the lightsaber. I can block anything. It's like take this. Oh wait, there was a bunch
Yeah,
of
that
little ones.
actually.
Spin in circles.
That's a good point. I'm pretty sure those are effective against Jedi and their bullshit. Anyways, but luckily he gets matched up against the Mandalorian, and he tries to do a little trickery. He tries to get real close in. He's all right. Stop. I'm not an idiot. You stop right where you're
Or
at.
he was also waiting, like they hear the battle going on, so he's like waiting to see the outcome.
who
All
wins?
right,
Who's
he's like,
gonna win?
Is your one gonna win or am I gonna win?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you know who's gonna fucking
Exactly,
win. He's like,
so-
well, sounds like your side won.
So
I'm
you
gonna
won.
Go ahead and put that gun down. I was like, he's gonna pull the gun on him, but it was a gun from his back, so he put the gun down, but then he pulled it. And I was like, oh, I was looking for the classic draw, and we got the classic draw there. So that was
nice
satisfying.
It's not fair. It's like if you're doing a quick draw and your opponent is covered in 60% indestructible armor, even if you draw first, it's like you have to be like.
I didn't even think about that.
It's just like, what are you gonna do?
Maybe he was a good shot. He was aiming for like
The right in the neck.
Yeah, right underneath.
Yes, that's exactly what happened because they both had armor on of some kind. So, yeah, you're going to have to aim for the vulnerable points. Thank you, Alex.
Well, one's Beskar and one's like plastic.
Yeah,
and
just like ricochet.
Yes, they
That
wear
would've been
plastic
better.
armor.
well, even stormtroopers, like any blaster shot, they practically internally explode. We know that no armor works
If
in the
he would have
universe
shot
but
him, it
Beskar.
would have probably just came back.
Yeah.
Shot himself.
It's real shiny. It reflects back.
I'm an idiot.
Damn it.
I was just thinking about that too. I was like, "What? That is a good point."
The Mandalorian
it's fucking blocking a
The
lightsaber.
Mandalorian
yeah.
so slow that he's like,
Yeah, I meant to do
oh.
that. Yes, he did.
God dang it, John. Anyways, we do get a fight. Choreograph here, the choreography here. A little less impressive, maybe because the other lady on the other side, the magistrate, doesn't have this same kind of fight skills. So they did some tight shots and some things like that. But it was still very, very visually pleasing and impressive. I just love the white sabers and the way they look on screen. And obviously, she beats her. And tell us what's next. So,
So the next one is he's like, all right, well. The deal is you have to take Grogu.
See, now you're messing it up, Joe. We'll get used to it. It's like Din Djarin. That's the Mandalorian's real name, but nobody uses it.
No,
so I'm probably going to be
easier.
the child or the
It's
kid
really
or
a
the
child.
baby Yoda. You're going to be able to use them interchangeably.
Yeah, so they
but
struck up a deal. It's like,
Grogu.
all right, well, here,
Grogu.
my job is done now. It's going to go with you.
Here,
He's like,
you
no,
take
I
baby.
can't take him. We had a deal.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I'm sorry, can't do it. You have to take him to Coruscant.
I altered the deal.
Right,
She was
Coruscant?
a Padawan. Huh?
You have to take him to Coruscant?
No,
or
Typhus.
Typhus.
Something like that.
Something like that. To the temple, take him to the mountain. There, you place him on the peak, and then let him choose his
It is
journey.
very dangerous to put a baby on the top of a temple,
Well,
on top
he's
of a
not
rock.
really
He's
a
gonna
baby.
he's gonna
He's
fall
like
off.
50, right? 60?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he's
right.
kind of a baby.
Okay,
So he has to choose his own
So we'll
journey.
go to the top of the temple and choose his own journey. And I think my personal opinion is the Mandalorian is this one right here. So his journey is he's
Is
going to
with
be
Mando.
the Mandalorian. That's what I think.
The Yodelorian.
The Yodelorian, like our
Yeah.
poster from season
Yes.
1. We're working on a season 2 poster. If you want to give us ideas, please put comments. What I was thinking is like have Ahsoka, the Mandalorian and the Yodelorian. Maybe not Ahsoka. We don't know how much she's going to be in the series. How about this time? Because it was the Yodelorian. How about Yodelorian and his dad, right? 2, get it? Season 2, Dad, yeah, got it. Anyways, but I did forget one little element here is that when Ahsoka defeated the magistrate, obviously before she took care of the business, she forced her to develop to give her the location of her master. And you're thinking, oh, her master's Moff Gideon? No, it's Grand Admiral Thrawn, right? So now Ahsoka apparently knows where Thrawn is, or maybe has a better idea of where to find Thrawn, and thus where to find Ezra Bridger. You're not going to set that up without Ezra Bridger. So I am confirming for you guys today, Ezra Bridger is going to be in this series or in Ahsoka's series.
Yeah, I don't
And
think-
I think this series. The reason why I think that is because later on, after they said that, they set up in the temple, well, you know what you could do is when you do that, just so happens that a Jedi might be triggered by it and he will come looking.
Yeah.
And I think the only one with that power level, the only one that's out there that's probably going to be able to do it is
It's
Ezra.
Luke Skywalker.
Ezra.
Okay. We're not allowed to say that guy's name. I forgot.
No. Because you
Luke
don't
does
want-
not exist.
No. Luke didn't not gonna happen. Not gonna
happen.
not gonna happen. Right?
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, you were the one that's like, I don't want it to do.
I don't want
want
Ezra
it to
in the
lead
show.
all the way where it is. It's like, to me, I would rather see Ezra. I would rather do this Rebels tie-in than tie it into, say, Luke Skywalker, because then you'll have a bunch of questions about Luke Skywalker, why he never mentioned this before, why he never, says anything and all this stuff, to Rey or to Yoda or to anything in the Disney sequels, but fucking Disney sequels.
I hope that this is a pilot for the
we forget
Ahsoka
about-
series. Like, that's what I hope this is. I hope we never see her again in The Mandalorian, and I hope that they just go this greenlit because this was incredible. Give her her own series. Put Dave Filoni in charge of everything. Maybe have other people do it, and start on it now because it's good. And I think that if you have Thrawn as the big bad, it'll work. And so we know that the writing can be there. So it's like, I don't want to see her again.
You
I
get
don't want
good
to see Ezra
casting
again.
on Thrawn, though, please.
Yeah, I was thinking about
Alex said John Cena.
John Cena's the funny
John
answer. That would be
Cena.
hilarious. Chris Evans would probably be good. Remember his haircut in Not Another Teen Movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
But-
If you pay him blue,
I think John Cena painting blue would look very intimidating.
would look hilarious. Yeah.
Would be funny.
Intimidating. It was
Yeah.
like,
Anyways.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't want to see her. I don't want to see Ezra. I don't want to see any of them in The Mandalorian anymore.
Okay.
no more space
I
wizards.
No
disagree
more
with
Space
you.
Wizards.
I enjoy the tie-in with the Rebels, of course, because I'm a huge Rebels fan, and I like the fact that they're doing this crossover. Dave Filoni knows how to handle this stuff, as clearly evidenced by this episode, and making that stuff more important. And honestly, if you give Dave the keys, if you make Dave the Kevin Feige of the Star Trek universe, and then let him work on several things instead of, say, Kathleen or something like that, then we can see the prominence of these other characters that are still out there, but they have been relegated to the animations, come to the forefront and really carry the Star Wars universe forward, along with new characters and new series, and hopefully, Republic, please. Anyways, so that's what I'm hoping for. Anyway, so she name drops the planet to take them to as Tython. So there's lots of Easter eggs there that can happen. The ruins of the old temple, and Grogu should decide his own course. So I think that. Do you think they're gonna play around with maybe a little bit of the dark side, tempting Grogu, or do you think
Nah,
it's
he's too
no?
adorable.
He's too young. He's too
He's too
adorable.
young.
It's
Exactly.
more. Is he gonna be a Jedi and leave the Mandalorian? They're so sad, and then he says, "No, I don't want to leave them. I want to be a Mandalorian."
If no one tells him about Darth Plagueis the Wise, then how can he possibly go over to the dark side? Because that's the kind of motivation you need, and I still don't fucking buy it this many decades later.
Right, I agree with you. I don't think that he's going to play around with the dark side. He will play around with his emotions, his anger, because he almost killed Kara. Or he was like choking Kara. Don't forget that this little guy has a,
He lifted like a 7-ton
Yeah.
mud horn. Like
Right.
he's powerful.
Powerful. So they're gonna get to the top of the temple, and then I think that the Jedi who could be triggered by him. There's one other possibility, and I've already teased him in the
Palpatine.
thumbnail. And Papa T?
Palpatine.
No, not Palpatine. That would be crazy. That would be a Sith coming and join. But
Well,
I think,
he's out there. They've already.
I think
we've got
Jedi.
pickled Snokes, and he's gonna be on the temple, and he's gonna be like, "Hey."
Hey, like that.
Yeah, he's gonna come out. And he's like, "Hey, I'm a Jedi," and
Hey.
everyone's like, "We don't know who that guy is."
Yeah,
And
he
he's
must
like,
be a Jedi. And we
yeah.
do the whole
No.
Anakin thing again.
Yeah.
No. There is one possibility, and it would be the what the fuck reveal that would blow my mind. Is this guy shows back up? We never saw him die. Joe. If Darth Maul can come back from being cut in
half.
fucking half and full, Mace only fell. He didn't even get cut in half. He
I'll
just
give
fell.
you that.
All
I'll
right?
give you that. Yeah.
What? How would that would be so fucking? Or at least here's
He's in everything.
two avenues of my favorite purple saber wielding Jedi. Could be two avenues. That, or he shows up at the end. I think more likely Ezra. But I do think there is an opportunity to see Mace Windu. Who is the Jedi that saved this one?
It's not necessarily a Jedi, though, right?
Yeah, it is. I think it is because they were in the Jedi. That's true.
There's
Maybe
like-
it could be that, but I do think it is a Jedi because it's
That's gotta be someone
closest
important.
access.
Someone
to
in-
it.
well,
They're
someone in the
training
temple
him
is
in
a
the
lot of
Jedi
non-Jedis.
temple, so I think Mace Windu could be the one that hid him, and because Mace Windu died died and then the information regarding this one was lost, because there is a possibility that Grogu is the son
Of Mace Windu.
of Mace Windu. Mace was having an affair with Yaddle behind Yoda's back, according to Alex, and that's why he's so powerful. And then at the end, we will get. He will choose the path of Mace Windu instead of the Mandalorian.
The only word
No!
he will know in common is motherfucker.
Yes.
Motherfucker. No. So
I want to see
do-
that now.
Yeah.
So we know that there is a female Yoda, and so her name was Yaddle. She was on the Jedi Council in The Phantom Menace. Then mysteriously she disappears in the next 2 films. She's no longer on the Jedi Council. Some controversy
Paternity
happens.
leave.
Of course, the man, Yoda, still gets to hold his position on the council. He's Yoda, for Christ's sake, right? So, but... well, we could turn this into a Maury situation.
The result.
You are the father. You are the father. And Yoda's like, or you are not the father. And then you're I don't know.
Oh, God.
Anyways, so it could be, guys, tell us what you
Terrible.
think. Do you think that,
Tell us your
Grogu is the son
theories.
of Yoda and Yaddle, or is he his own child that Yoda brought from his planet, wherever that may be? Because it's possible that, that race has plenty. No, that race is nothing but Force-sensitive beings. They've said that and confirmed it already. So you would think that the entire Yoda race would be in the young Jedi Council with the little babies. Master Skywalker, they're out there. What should we do? I guess he wasn't in that room with the stupid little fucking helmets and shit.
We don't talk,
See, he's smarter than that.
It's terrible.
Yeah. Anyways, so a lot of potential and excitement for the future, but it has definitely been confirmed at this point that the Mandalorian is basically confirming, canonizing, or recanonizing, and bringing to the forefront Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars Clone Wars, a lot of the animation stuff, and
And it's
in a
looking good.
certain way that's really cool. But it also, I see Alex's point. Does that kind of take away from the Mandalorian? It's like, hopefully Mando will still have his place in this new area, and I think he will. So, all right, let's go to final verdicts.
Do you want to start?
No.
Okay. I will start. I'm going to give this another 10. This
Hell.
one was so great. I loved it. I love the way they do the atmospheres and different planets. This one was great, too. I wanted to kind of see those other creatures in the back. That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, the tree eating things.
Yeah. And
I think they teased her owl. They had an owl, and then they had one of those little cats too.
loft
So I
cat, yeah.
love the
Yeah, we got one of those again, the cats.
the animal life in the series.
yeah, I like that as well. The choreography with her lightsabers was pretty cool. It looked badass. Like
Yeah.
transitioning that from the series into live action was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
The cast was great. Seeing everyone
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
I loved it.
Hell yeah.
And during the short time, I was entertained. There was really no any low points for
Yeah.
me. So all the way through, excellent.
Yeah.
Do you hope that we will see Ahsoka again? Do you think
Briefly, yeah. But
yeah.
I'm like with Alex too. I don't want to see a whole
It
bunch
to
of
turn
Jedi,
into
'cause-
the Ahsoka show.
Exactly, because
Okay.
like I don't want the attention just to be like, oh well, the Jedi are coming. I was like, we're safe, fine. But
There are no Jedi.
hopefully not at all.
They're alive. Luke's alive.
She
Luke's
said
alive.
so.
Luke's alive, and Ezra's alive, and he's got a temple, and he's training
Ezra.
more. And one of the easiest 10s I've ever given for The Mandalorian. I mean, it was great, and I was really worried about it coming in, so my expectations were probably a little bit lower
One of the easiest 10s, you said?
for the
Oh,
series.
you're giving
yeah.
it a 10.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
giving
I
it a
thought
10.
was lower.
Good.
The writing was on point. It was so much better. There was no characters that I hated,
Yes.
like in the Gunslinger, his previous episode.
Yeah.
And I think that he handled it really, really well.
Yeah.
There were so many little Easter eggs that he threw in. I mean, so you can tell that he's so passionate about the
But
Star Wars universe.
last season you said he was the worst director. So did he make up for it in this episode?
He's that episode is still the worst, and not just for
I'm
me.
not arguing with you
Yeah,
because I
so-
didn't really like Gunslinger.
You
I
got
did like it,
Mulligan.
but I knew it wasn't as strong
Yeah,
as the other
It
ones.
wasn't as strong, so I think he's done one of the best, if not the best. I'd have to go back and look, but it's like I think he's done the worst, and I think he's also done the best. And I think if that's the kind of stuff that we want, Give him his own Ahsoka show,
Yeah.
and just let him run off and do his own thing. I don't necessarily want to see more of her. Short bursts, perhaps, but I don't like the idea. It takes some of the tension away when I'm not worried about whether the Mandalorian and the child, now Grogu, are going to live or die based on the fact that there are these space wizards with lightning swords that come out and do all sorts of shit. And
Or
everything
say-
that
But I think that's why they do this cameo thing and why some people are upset. What? She just leaves. She just lets him leave.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're following your
I
plan.
that's
Which
what I
is
hope they
great,
want to do.
yeah.
But so you asked, do I want to see more of her? And it's like, yes, I do, but not next to the Mandalorian, right? So like, I want him to be the star of his own show. I want there to be tension, and I want to be worried
Yes.
about how he's going to figure it out. Not if the lightning sword deflects the thing, and then they I use my mind powers to you.
Mind bullets.
Yeah, so I don't want that. I want that in its own show where the power level makes sense. Like, you have to have the galactic powers with the galactic threats. Otherwise, people hate on it and shit.
Dark Troopers is coming. That shit is threat. That's threat level high. So I did not expect a 10 out of 10. I thought maybe you'd give it like a 9. I'm actually hovering between a 9 and a 10. We watched this thing 15 minutes ago, so I got to make my decision quick. These are basically first impressions, not
Yeah.
full-on reviews. I really want to watch it again, and I think if I watch it again, it's going to hit that 10. I think the only reason why I felt maybe 9 is because I wanted a little more impact, in the reveal of Ahsoka. But then as we were talking about it, it's like, no, let's just get right to it. Ahsoka's doing her thing. She did it in the most badass way.
You only have like
The
35
show
minutes.
delivers in the dialogue. The show delivers in the action. The show delivers in the visuals. It may be a
Yep.
little too dark in places. And the show says, you know what? I am not the focus of your show. I am Ahsoka, and here's what I think of what your situation is, and here's where I think you should do. And the Mandalorian, and it's still the Mandalorian and the Grogu show, and they
Called him
take
Buddy
off
once.
together.
Let's just call him Buddy. Buddy sounds so much better than Grogu.
little buddy,
You did it, buddy! And it's like, yeah, let's call him Buddy and the kid. And hey, kid, because it's like,
Calls
let's
him kid.
Grogu. No.
trying to activate his force powers, but he doesn't want to do it because, let's see here. 1, 2, 3. He's just laughing. He's having a good time. He's a disobedient little kid.
He's
You can't force him
stubborn.
to do it. He's stubborn. He's a stubborn little one.
Well, he's
You
also-
you got to get the little ball. The
Yes.
ball is what
We-
shows him.
have
the
you never
force.
trained
Oh,
dogs
there you go.
before?
See, hey, he loves his daddy. All right, Grogu. Hey, it's my son.
That's
I'm
a
proud of him.
food motivated
I'm
little
proud of
kid.
him.
Like, all you do is hold up food.
That's true.
And he would have done anything you asked him to.
That's
You
true.
train dogs, and you find out how they're motivated.
I
That's
thought-
a food motivated little
I
kid.
those
thought
eggs.
that's how he was going to
It's
do
just
it.
like he
Eggs
holds
in
up
a
a
tank.
yeah, he holds up an egg, and the kid's
Sorry,
like,
our Grogu is probably disappearing on the green screen, but I can't do anything about that. Anyways, guys, so that's it for this episode. A 10 out of 10. I'm gonna go with a 10 out of 10 because I was wavering between the 9 and the 10.
It's good.
It was real good, right? And something as stupid as, oh, let's do a crescendo and a flash and make a bigger deal about revealing her. Nah. The big deal is how does she perform, and she performed great.
She murders.
And it was fantastic. 47 minutes, one of the longer episodes in the whole series, so that was
Good.
good as well, as you get a little bit more exposition and talking scenes. And I really wish that they would keep it at that length, because I felt that length was
perfect.
adequate
Yeah, it was
and
good.
Good. So 10 out of 10. Anytime you get to that length, I'm going to reward you. So 10 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to our sponsors, Surfshark. Definitely click those links down below if you want to protect your privacy or if you want to take control of what content you have access to, with the geo-locking from all these different companies. Get around that with Surfshark, guys. So this is just so fun and great. Every fucking Friday I have something to cheer me up, something to look
Right.
forward to. Arguing with
do you want to tell him?
family.
Do you want to tell him? There's only 3 more episodes less, and that's over.
Yeah, but I do know we're getting a season 3, so
Yes.
I'm happy
Later
about
on,
that.
yeah.
So, and I'm very
3
excited to
more.
see what a series they're going to announce next because I think they're getting good returns on this Star Wars stuff. And
We know they're getting good returns.
Deborah Chow is doing Obi-Wan, so we're going to review the fuck out of
It's gonna
that.
be a young Mace Windu with Jerry curls.
Yeah.
What'd you say, motherfucker?
Fuck, motherfucker! Hell yeah!
I would watch
I would
it.
watch the
10
hell out of
of 10.
that. You know what? I did not even expect something like that, but Joe, I'm
Yes,
with you all the way.
young
Let's
Mace
start
Windu, Jerry
Young Mace
Curls.
Windu
Let your
campaign.
Do it.
force glow.
Hashtag
Yes.
Young
Let your soul
Windu.
glow.
Young Windu. Young MF is what
I
this show
wanna
would
see
be called.
it.
Anyways, guys, thank y'all so much.
Uh.
We will see you on the next Angry Joe Show.
Bye, guys.